there's a way.
Good afternoon. Or actually, way good morning. What am I saying afternoon for? All right. I should have actually done a little bit more digging. It'll come to my mind if it needs to. Morning, leisure. Good to see ya. Happy fuck yeah Friday, huh? I saw your post, and it said be careful. Yeah, be careful out there. All right. Is that a line from Hill Street Blues? Anybody else remember that show? I watched every episode of Hill Street Blues. West Wing. I have to catch up, but I've watched every single Law and Order ever put out. Every single one. That includes organized crime, SVU, criminal intent, Law and Order LA, Law and Order Europe. Oh, Jankowski. He likes putting his stuff out, doesn't he? Sometimes it gets a little too political for me, though. I don't always agree with what they do. Uh, love Mariska Hargitay, though. Um, I can't take this. Okay, I'm just gonna have to let her know I'm live. She probably wants to talk about stuff going on. Stuff today. Today was busier than I thought it was. I got up. I'm like, all I have to do is do dishes, and at 1 o'clock I got a meeting. No, I have more to do. But yeah, Mariska Hargitay. Um, she's awesome, man. I just like her. She's a great actress. She's a good person, man. And guess what? She doesn't have the same political views as me, and I can still like her. Look at that. Oh, dear Lord. Today's my meeting with Aurora Mental Health. We're going to find out whether I'm going to be doing something for them or not. I already know the answer. I've been trying to think of it the whole way and stuff. My therapist said, well, the way that was written, because I got anyway. But I know because I had to get the conversation rolling again, and that's kind of how I know. So they said the next step is let's do it. You and I should talk. Now I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So what am I going to do? Well, if I go in there with the expectation of that's what's going to happen, then guess what's going to happen? That's what's going to happen because I will make it true. No, got to go with the intent of what can I do to help this situation? What can I do? That's the attitude I got to go in with it. But the thing is you got to be able to do that and be able to confront at the same time. And I think that's what they don't like about me. I don't have much problem confronting. Doesn't I confront myself all the time. I confront myself all the time. Okay, we're gonna get going here. All right. Trying to remember a place in the big book, but I don't quite remember where it's at. I'll probably be doing some skipping around in the big book. Probably we'll spend a little bit of time in the family afterwards. Right. So welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I think I'm going to use my phone to give me a little bit of help here. AA Big Book, not so with the alcoholic. No, I just want to know where it's at. So there's a solution. Okay. See, I was in the right place. There is a solution. There it is, right there. See? Did you see what just happened? Right? Do you think that was just coincidence? I just opened right up to the page. Huh. No, it's not. All right. So let's go ahead and start with there is a solution. All right. We of Alcoholics Anonymous know thousands of men and women who were once just as hopeless as Bill. Nearly all have recovered. Recovered. Yeah. They have solved the drink problem. That's what recovered means. Means you're no longer insane. That's what it means. It means we have healed from our past stuff. We become a different person. We are not cured of alcoholism. Alcoholism is maintained. I'm sorry, sobriety and recovery is maintained. Of course, so is alcoholism, but it's a lot harder to maintain. All right, we are average Americans, all sections of the country, and many of its occupations are represented, as well as many political, economic, social, and religious backgrounds. We are people who would not normally mix. Okay, how do we apply that to what we're talking about? What it's saying is alcohol doesn't understand race, creed, it doesn't understand gender, it doesn't understand age, time, any of that. That is not your political, your religious backgrounds. None of them apply to alcoholism. None. The only requirement being that you were born with it. That's it. How many times have you heard about somebody that was adopted, and maybe that person who was adopted, the reason that their parents gave them up is because the parent was an alcoholic and could not take care of them. They went to a great family who was vetted, grew up great, had everything that they needed, were taught the right things, anything, lots of stuff, right? But yet they still became an alcoholic. It's not it's not nurture, it's nature. It is in our DNA. I'm convinced of that. We are people who would not normally mix, but there exists among us a fellowship, a friendliness, and an understanding which is undescribably wonderful. We are like the passengers of a great liner the moment after rescue from shipwreck, when camaraderie, joyousness, and democracy pervade the vessel from steerage to captain's table. I'm going to let another person know here because they're not here. Because I don't think they're looking at their other stuff, but they seem to be doing that. Right? So we are people that wouldn't normally mix, but we could get together and agree on some things. All right. Yeah. The friend that called wants me to transfer. This is a good friend of mine, the pastor doing events for homeless community and governing counties out there. His plan: Unity in the Community, scheduled for June 28th. Free food, free resources from other agency, free haircuts, um, free items to support individual uniques, and he would like you to attend to provide your services for local 12-step meetings. Yes, happy to do that. They're just asking me to set up an AA table and talk to some people, do some outreach. Yes, we're going to do it. And some of you best help me. Some of you better show up and, yeah. Yes, I'm laughing, but I'm not quite kidding. All right. Unlike the feeling of the ship's passengers, however, our joy and escape from disaster does not subside as we go our individual ways. The feeling of having shared a common peril is one element in the powerful cement which binds us, but that in itself would never have held us together as we are now joined. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have found a way out on which we can absolutely agree. All right. Now we're going to turn the page and we're going to go to 18. Okay. An illness of this sort, and we have become to believe it an illness, involves those about us in a way no other human sickness can. Now, the thing is, okay, alcoholism is progressive, but it is not just progressive in the individual, it is progressive in the family. The whole family's got it. Think alcoholism's about alcohol. No, the people that are in the family that are around the alcoholic, that came from alcoholic families, da 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 da, they're just as spiritually sick. Yes, they are. That includes, there's a whole we call it the dysfunctional family. Alcoholism is the only thing that has something called the dysfunctional family, where every single person has a part to play in what is going on in the sickness. It is a family. Alcoholism is called the family disease for a reason. Does does drug addiction do this also? Yes, it will. Let me just go ahead and. Hey, Loria, I am live, but but the answer is yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll try and follow up with you this weekend. All right. Love you. You got it. Bye. That's AA calling. I can't not pick up the phone. So, and it's about they want us to come to see intentions. All right. But anyway, it is a family disease and it involves everybody. I can cite proof after proof, case after case, example after example. Okay. It is hereditary. Alcoholism is hereditary. Yep. It's usually the second or fourth child that becomes the alcoholic. Almost always. Yeah. Okay. So everybody has a part. Everybody has a part. Okay. Like with us. See, the reason Shannon and I got along so great is because I'm an extreme alcoholic and she was an extreme codependent. She's changed a lot. She's changed a lot. Good for her. In fact, if it wasn't for her boundaries, I wouldn't be here. Okay. Now, she came from a home that was an alcoholic home. Is she an alcoholic? No. She is the firstborn and therefore was the hero. She was the one that did the dishes, that took care of everything, that took care of the house, but took most of the beatings. She an alcoholic? No. Was she as spiritually sick as I was when we met? Probably not as much as me, but yeah, yes. See, here's the thing. You're going to attract what you are. You don't have a choice if you're an alcoholic. You're going to attract codependence. Yes, you will, no matter how hard you try. You're either going to attract people that are codependent or other alcoholics. When two alcoholics get married, it's pretty much over with. There's no way that relationship. Yeah, I can't determine that. Okay. So, an illness of this sort, and we do believe, and we have come to believe it, an illness involves those about us in a way no other human sickness can. If a person has cancer, all are sorry for him and no one is angry or hurt, but not so with the alcoholic illness. For with it goes annihilation of all things worthwhile in life. It engulfs all whose lives touch the sufferers. It brings misunderstanding, fierce resentment, financial insecurity, disgusted friends and employers, warped lives of blameless children, sad wives and parents. Anyone can increase the list. Yeah. See, it takes over. It is an evil corroding thread. Starts with the alcoholic. Okay. We are extraordinary people. You always felt a little extraordinary. Yeah. It's also a song. Trying to remember the name of it. Name of the band. All right. We're extraordinary people and we're extremists. What does that mean? It means we're going to do a lot of bad in this world or a lot of good. That's what that means. There's not, it's a black or white kind of thing. I don't know what it is about alcoholics that seem to have more power over people and control than than other people, but it does seem to happen. I don't know why. A lot of us have charisma. We're very we tend to be very charismatic people. We're good talkers. We have to be, or we are not going to we won't survive the test that is alcoholism. It comes with it. Most alcoholics are pretty darn intelligent. I wouldn't go say genius, but above average. That's why we get away with shit. Till you meet another bullshitter, right? And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Even let's say you have the at a probably the least sick person in the family is probably the lost child because they tend to stick to themselves and just kind of be away from everybody so they don't get involved with the shit. But even then, so let's say you have a lost child there, and who is a lost child going to find? An alcoholic. The the hero, who are they going to marry? Probably an alcoholic, most likely. See, most codependents were the hero from the family they grew up in, usually the oldest child. Okay. My older brother did not do that. So, see, it doesn't always work out that way. Okay. Does not always work out that way. But usually you'll find. Yeah. I don't know how many interviews I've done where the person grew up in a great family and they're like, my parents never drank. In fact, there was no alcohol allowed in the house. See, I already know. I'm going to ask the question, but the answer is this because their parents drank, because the grandparents are alcoholic. And I'm like, are the grandparents in your life? No, no, they wouldn't let us see our grandparents. Or the other answer is, yeah, we got to see our grandparents. They got sober. They were in AA. Those are the two answers. Hi, Amber. I'd like put it off as long as I could. It's good to see you. All right. So now, like I said, I'm going to do some flipping around in the big book. Oh, don't you put your ears back like you're mad. You want to fuck with me? Huh? Don't fuck with me. I'll fuck with you. I've fucked with this cat since he was a kitten, so he is. Excuse me. I hope I'm not in your way, kitty. All right. So now it seems like there's another place. There's another part before we get to this. So when we get sober, right? We now a lot of us have kids, we're married, maybe not always, but there's always people in our life that are important to us. Maybe you're not married yet, you know, maybe you don't have kids, maybe you're a little bit younger. And what I would say to that is good job. You got a great fucking life ahead of you. You know, you have the chance to show your kids what life is about. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. You cannot break the cycle of alcoholism. You can't. You couldn't even break your own alcoholism. And if it follows DNA, you can have as much nature and nurture and stuff going on that you want, but there's still going to be an alcoholic. That'd be like saying I'm a good parent, and because I'm such a good parent, my kid no longer has autism. It'd be saying the same thing. You can't do it. I know. Somebody's got to tell you, though. Somebody needs to tell you. If you have more than one kid, one of them is alcoholic. The chances are very, very high, like 95%. If you are married and your significant other came from an alcoholic family, they have the alcoholic gene in them. Now both parents. It didn't come out like ours did, but it's in there. Okay. So what can we do? Well, my daughter came to me a few weeks ago. Actually, I think like 3 weeks ago now. Well, my mom's been hitting the meetings. The whole family's in. Why? Because it's a family disease. That's why. And we healed together. So, what generational curses can we break? Anger. Anger is the big one. Fear, you know. So, what can we do? You just got to be the best fucking example you can for your kids. You got to teach them who you are so that if they get in that situation, they know what to do. Plant the seed early. A lot of times, in Zoom meetings, here's the benefit of Zoom meetings. Your kids are watching you heal right in front of them. That is the benefit of the Zoom meetings. The in person meetings don't get that. But a lot of times we have our kids, like this one, who seems to need a lot of attention today. Uh-oh. I found a pill on the ground. That's not good. That's not good. Who needs attention to what's up? He's over here doing stuff he isn't supposed to because, bad attention is better than no attention. Huh? What's wrong with you, kid? You grow up in an alcoholic family or something? My cats have never seen me drink. Right? My kitties have never seen me drink. Yeah. Mm-mm. All right. Move on. Yeah, it's weird because none of my kids drink. None of them do. Well, the oldest might, but if she does, I guarantee it's not very much. Shannon doesn't drink. Nobody in our family drinks. Some are alcoholic, most are not. And I'm just talking about me, my wife, our kids, and grandkids and stuff. None of us drink. We're all done. All right. So there's not much more I can do to kind of, all right. So let's get into the family afterward here. Um, I'm gonna start. I'm not even gonna tell you where I'm at. I'm just gonna read because I'm gonna be doing a lot of flipping around. So, cessation of drinking is but the first step away from a highly strained, abnormal condition. A doctor said to us, years of living with an alcoholic is almost sure to make any wife or child neurotic. The entire family is to some extent ill. Let families realize as they start their journey that all will not be fair weather. Each in his turn may be footsore and may struggle. There may be alluring shortcuts and bypaths down which they may wander and lose their way. Suppose we tell you some of the obstacle families will meet. Suppose we suggest how they may be avoided, even converted to good use for the others. The family of the alcoholic longs for the return of happiness and security. They remember when father was romantic, thoughtful, and successful. Today's life is measured against that of other years, and when it falls short, the family may be unhappy. My kids didn't go through this. I was at no point around them where I was romantic, thoughtful, or successful. That didn't happen to me. Most of the time, I was unavailable. I was an I was what the courts call an absentee father, right? When my kids did come back into my life, I was 40. I was at the height of my drinking. There wasn't any of that. So we didn't go through the longing for, but that doesn't mean things didn't need to happen, right? They talk a lot about maybe, you know, my wife had the kids go to Alateen a little bit, and they hated it. They resented it, but it stuck in their head. And Shannon had to do that because they could not like it or whatever, but they don't get mad at her. Like, to me, it would just turn into anger. And they'd have a right to be angry with me or just add on to how they already feel about me. All right. I couldn't be the one to have them go to Alateen. And no, they didn't like it and they screwed around, but they heard what they needed to hear. So later on in life, they knew what to do. See, that's all it was. It was a trick. We knew, Shannon's a much better parent than I am. How do you think I've learned how to be a parent? Through my wife. It's the only time we argue when it comes to the kids, right? Father knows he is to blame. It may take him many seasons of hard work. Seasons means, yeah, okay, now you know what seasons are. Of hard work to be restored financially, but he shouldn't be reproached. Perhaps he will never have much money again, but the wise family will admire him for what he was trying to be, for what rather than for what he was trying to get. I've never had much money, so my kids are not know they already know. Dad doesn't have money. Dad does something different, you know. But none of my kids are materialistic. They're not. They don't go for the Gucci bags. They don't go for it. No, it's about family, getting what it is that we need to do, taking care of the kids. Okay, right. Now and then, the family will be plagued by specters from the past. For the drinking career of almost every alcoholic has been marked by escapades, funny, humiliating, um, sorry, funny, humiliating, shameful, or tragic. The first impulse will to bury these skeletons in a dark closet and padlock the door. Family may be possessed by the idea that future happiness can only be based on forgetfulness of the past. We think that such a view is self centered and in direct conflict with the new way of living. Now, I see this often when people come into the program, even though, and if you sponsor, you've gone through this. And even in the beginning, you tell them, I know you feel guilty. I know you feel shame. I know you feel blame. Do not go to your family and start apologizing for everything. You're going to fuck it up. You don't know how to do it yet. Sorry from an alcoholic means I plan on doing it again. And they go do it anyway. And the person just gets more mad. And they're like, I just don't want to talk to you anymore. Hmm. And I'll tell you why. How are they going to follow a lead of somebody who has not changed? You've got to be the example, and that's what takes many seasons. It may be a year or two. 8 years for me before all my kids came back. It took a minute. Okay. It was very circumstantial, trust me. Very circumstantial on that. It was a reverse of roles, is what happened. Right. I had one kid that didn't want to be around me when I was drinking. Well, by the time I quit drinking, they kind of became legal age to start drinking. Roles switched. Then they didn't want to be around me because I wasn't drinking, and they didn't, yeah, you get it, you understand. So it was all circumstantial. But even during their drinking, they ended up reaching out to me, and it was why? What was it? It was their kids. Their kids wanted to see Grandpa again, and that's how it started. Look, God knew what He was doing. God knew what He was doing. Did it suck? Yeah. Did we get through it? Yeah. Are people better now? Oh, yeah. All right. Henry Ford once made the wise remark to the effect that experience is the thing of supreme value in life. That is only true if one is willing to turn the past into good account We grow by our willingness to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. The alcoholic's past thus becomes the principal asset of the family, and frequently it is almost the only one. A lot of times it is. Right? The painful past may have been infinite value to other families struggling with their problems. See, we don't just help the individual alcoholic. We work with the family, and it is something that is missing from, oh no, pretty much every AA meeting I go to. Online, it'd be impossible to do. Okay. It used to be that if there was an AA meeting going on, there was a very good chance there was also an Al Anon and an Alateen meeting going on. We used to pack his families into the car and go to our individual meetings. That is the way it used to work. Without that, it's just not quite the same. Al-Anon is our sister, you know. We are AA, Al-Anon, and Alateen are related. That is our sister program. And we work very, very close with Al-Anon. Very close. We need to get back to that. We do. The alcoholic's not the only one that needs help. I think it's kind of unfair that the alcoholic gets to go on a 28-day vacation in Malibu and hang out at the beach for 28 days, and everybody else got to stay home and do the dishes and everything else while they're getting better. I think it's a little unfair. Honestly, I do. Of course, I've been in enough treatment to know that that's not how it works. We think each family that has been relieved owes something to those who have not. And when the occasion requires, each member should be only too willing to bring former mistakes, no matter how grievous, out of their hiding place. We don't, you know, that actually leads to a good thing. My mom called me the other day, and she's like, "Do you mind that I'm going to your meeting?" I'm like, "No, Mom. I love that you're there. I think it's awesome." She's like, "Well, sometimes I might say something that might upset you. You know." And I'm like, "Oh wow, you're thinking of me. Nice." It doesn't bother me. I'm like, "Mom, I already know most of it." That's not what I said. No, my answer was, "We're there to help people. I can put my shit aside for a little bit. You don't need to worry about it. I can take care of myself on that." But see, that's how we do it. We're family. Okay? That meeting is literally turned into a family meeting. All right. Showing others who suffer how we were given help is the very thing which makes life seem so worthwhile to us now. Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have. Yeah. The key to life and happiness for others. With it, you can avert death and misery for them. Don't tell me we're not extraordinary when we have the power to save other people's lives. Don't tell me we're not extraordinary. It's hard to accept, though, isn't it, that you might be that person? Because in a way, you don't want to be that person. That's the selfishness in us. It's scary. I don't want to fuck with other people's lives. We're not telling people what to do. We're guiding them. We're showing them what we did so they can have what we have. So we can't be selfish about that. All right. I think that's going to be it for this one. Usually I do them at 11, but talking with Christine at 11. So, all right. And throw some prayers my way about Aurora mental health, that something amicable needs to happen there. Whether there's money involved or not is not my concern. Something needs to be amicable, because this meeting will help me decide a few things. So, all right. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.